Well, good morning. Happy Wednesday, people. You guys are probably wondering, like, why am I always in my car doing videos and stuff? But it's only because things come to me as I'm driving, because I don't listen to music for the most part. I literally pretty much drive in silence, which is very unusual because growing up, the louder the better. I mean, I had systems growing up and everything, so there's a lot of quiet time when I'm driving, so there's a lot of time to kind of like think and ponder on the word. And for the most part, you guys, I think about the things of God. I try as much as I possibly can. Most of the time, it's just second nature now. Before, when I first started out, it was really hard. It was a huge fight because the adversary doesn't want you to put on the word. He doesn't want you to listen to the things of the word. You know, so he wants to distract you. He wants to keep you as bound to not being able to hear the voice of God as much as possible. And one of the things I was thinking about and just going over was Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Now, this is a very, you might think, well, what a nice verse. I know that verse because a lot of people do know that verse. It's a very popular verse. It's easy to remember, or just even bits and pieces of it. But truly living it is a different, it opens up a different world if you really think about it. Because we live in a world that directly reacts to everything. Everything is a reaction. This person said this, so I'll say this, or there's always that, I'm going to be the bigger person, and someone posts on Facebook, they're like, oh, well, I'm just going to be the bigger person, this person did this, but I'm going to be the bigger person. It's just a reaction. You're just reacting, it's a whole emotional game that people constantly throw themselves into in the world. And I was thinking, I was like, you want to really, you want to test out how much you trust in God, or what you need to work on when it comes to trusting God. How do you react? What is your first response? Do you immediately go to God when someone says something to you, or says something about you, or does something to you, does something around you? What is your first reaction? Is your first reaction a fleshly reaction, or is it a godly response? So, God says to trust in him in all of our ways. So when the reason why we react is, reaction is a defense mechanism. It's a fight or flight response. The world is wired. Okay, the world is wired to just boom. Okay, boom. Everything around you is fast paced, guys. So, back then, people had a little bit more time to think about things. People had a little bit more time to ponder. They didn't have screens flashing in front of them. They didn't have cars zipping by them. They didn't have, a 9-to-5 job to clock in and clock out. There was a lot less time for them to just immediately react. They could take their time. We've lost that. We've lost that ability to really sit back and think about what we're doing before we do it. So when we have something happen to us, no matter what that is, if the doctor comes and tells you, hey, you have cancer, what is your first reaction? How do you respond to that? Is it fear? Is your first response? That is a natural old man response. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It is bad, but I'm not saying that you can't act that way. It's is your first response, okay, God, how are you going to heal me from this? Or is it, I'm going to die? See, when you're in tune with God, and when you are absolutely 100% solid that you're going to trust God in all your ways, your response is going to be much different than, say, if you never thought about it and you didn't know the Word or you didn't know God. So how do we work on this? Well, we go to His Word. We constantly, going to God, you're going to get a lot. When you go to the Word, you're going to get a lot of reproof, guys, on the way that you think and the way that you have acted and the way that you're going to get it. You're going to get conviction. And that's a good thing, because you're automatically thinking. It's not a guilt and condemnation thing, guys. When it comes to the Word, the things of God are not filled with guilt and condemnation. If you were getting guilt and condemnation, that is a flesh response. Okay? With God, it is not it's not a negative thing. It is not going to feel good. We have this misconception about what love is. The love of God is gonna prick sometimes, guys. It's gonna hurt because we're being convicted. We're saying, hey, you know what, flesh, I see you. I see you, flesh. And I don't want that anymore. I don't want that part of you, flesh. I want what God says. But when you constantly put on the Word of God, which is the will of God, which is the heart of God, your responses are going to be a lot more peaceful. They're going to be a lot more planned out than just reacting and saying, boom, okay, I'm angry now. Everybody's got to deal with me. No one gets blessed by that. It's not saying you can't get angry. There's times and a place to get angry. But if every single time that someone does something to you that you dislike, or you hear something that might be reproof, the first response is anger, hey, we have a problem. And there is many different deep-rooted issues that can be in it, that can be healed, that can be absolutely be turned into a strength, and you can definitely get rid of that reaction. And the more you put on the Word, the more you're going to respond with the Word, and the better the outcome is going to be. Because if you react with a negative reaction, everything around you is going to completely fall apart. I'm telling you, because it's easy to go down the negative path because the negatives come easy, but the positives can come easy too, but they take more work. It's the easy path to be negative. But it takes a lot of effort and work sometimes to get positive about things. But the fact that you're working towards a positive mindset means that you recognize things for what they are. And the more that you do it, and the more that you read about what God says about situations, what God has to say about your life, what God has to, and you start to really put it on and you really start to believe it, guys, it becomes easier. And the easier it is to get positive, it is exactly like how easy it is to get negative. The negatives will keep rolling. If you learn how to get positive quicker, the positives are going to start rolling. You're going to see God's going to move a lot quicker because He has the ability to move a lot quicker because He's not waiting for you to get your mind right. You're already there. You're already right there with God, and God's like, I'm on it. God already knows how to handle the situation. He already knows what's going to benefit everybody, how it's going to bring people to the kingdom, and how it's going to bless your life and bless the other people around you. He doesn't want you to have to react to everything in such a negative way because it hurts everybody. Nobody gets blessed, but that's what the adversary, that's what the devil wants you to do, because he wants to destroy everything. He wants everything to be disrupted. He wants everything to be disrupted. And when you realize that, when you understand that, it's like, no, not today, Satan. No. I know what you're trying to put in my head right now. I know that I know that you know my weaknesses. But I'm aware of my weaknesses too, and I'm going to make this a strength, and I'm going to go to God, and I'm going to respond with something that I read the other day. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. And I'm going to repeat that over and over in my head, devil, until you're out. That's how you respond. The doctor comes to you and he says, hey, listen, you got 6 months to live. Well, God says he wants me to prosper and be in health. So, no, I don't have 6 months to live. I have health. His word is marrow, his health to my bones. It's health to your body. So when you see that, when you recognize that, boom, then there's your response. That's how you react. Someone comes at you and they're angry and they're mad and they're upset and they're calling you names and making you feel low. You know? Love thy neighbor. I'm gonna love them. Gonna love them. You know? And so when you do those things, you're gonna start seeing how God just starts knocking down barriers and walls. So and you know, the thing is once you give it to God, you can just live your normal life. Like, nobody knows right now, and again, I say these things, not because I'm trying to brag. I put a lot of work and I put a lot of effort into things, guys. So I'm just using these things as an example, I do not view myself as better. I got a lot of work to do. I don't think myself is better, but I do have a lot of examples. Nobody knows what's going on in my life right now, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of things in the background that are not so good. But I know that God is taking care of it. I have not lost no sleep. I still continue to do what I need to do. I don't have a negative reaction. I'm coming at it and I'm letting God handle it, right? Because there's nothing that I'm going to be able to do that is going to make any of these things better, because God knows the best way. God knows how to handle it, and I don't want to screw it up, so I'm letting him do it. And guess what? Things are going in my favor. And they're not, it's things that can really hurt and change my life. But does it matter? No. Because if that's the way that it's going to go, then I know that God has something better lined up for me no matter what I'm going through. Because you know what? I've seen what he's done. I know his promises in his word. I know what he has to say about me. And I know that he loves me. And I know that he cares for me. And I know that he provides for me. I know that in the depths of my heart. So at first, did I respond in the proper way that I should? No, because you know what? I am still human and I still have things that I work on. But my response time, to go to God was quicker than let's say 2 years ago. I probably got negative about it for about 10 minutes. That's it. And the rest is to God. You know what? I renewed my mind. I got right with God. I saw what God had to say about these types of things and situations, and that's it. Boom. It's taken care of. It's done. It's over with. So God does love you, and he has the best response to everything, and his timing is perfect timing, and his will is perfect. So just let him move. You guys, go to his word, and when you have a situation, the answer is there. I'm telling you, it's right there. And how to respond and how to act and how to think about these particular situations. I guarantee you it's gonna turn out better than you ever thought or could imagine. So respond with God and what he has to say about it. So love you guys. Till next time.